Warning! Be on the lookout for lawyers running away with schoolgirls. Stan is singing about his quiet mountain town, but never takes the time to chastise them for only building on one side of Main Street. That's some prime unused real estate. Even in simple-ass animated South Park, there's still a cliche baguette in the grocery bag. But also, why does this tiny town have a 2-story post office? I'm not sure towns this small have their own rhinoplasty centers. I live in a town about 3 times the size of this fictional town, and we don't even have one rhinoplasty center. This straightforward sign reminds me of the store Just Socks in this mall in Chattanooga back in 1998. And every time my friend and I were in that mall, I would point at Just Socks and say, I wonder what they sell there. And my friend would say, no clue. We were awesome.
And then when you die and go to hell, you can answer to Satan.
Foreshadowing.
Kick the baby!
Kick the baby.
Kicking babies?
Ike, you broke another window. That's a bad baby.
Exactly how does she think a baby throws itself through a window? And I realize that her angry ignorance is what turns the plot of this film, but if she thinks a baby threw itself through a window, she is incapable of leading an American war against Canada, as the movie will go on to suggest she does.
Take your little brother out with you.
Offloading parenting duties onto your older children. Using your full marquee for a single movie and risking upsetting the studio behind Rat Kicker. What's up with the inefficient use of space in this town?
Terrence and Phillip Ashes of Fire has been rated R by the Motion Picture Association of America.
There's no greater proof of the MPAA's hypocrisy than a kid's movie Ashes of Fire getting an R rating, while the disturbing as hell The Milk Song snags a PG.
Yeah, but the animation's all crappy.
Self-aware cell phones. Unless, of course, your self-aware cell phone is accusing someone else of doing a self-aware cell phone when you know that you also do self-aware self-owned, because that self-aware self-own has an extra layer of meta that makes it totally okay and hilarious. Sitting in the front row at the movies like a psycho.
You're such a pig, Philip!
The kids hearing their favorite cartoon characters swearing cleverly mirrors South Park characters being allowed to swear in the South Park movie. Indeed, it's kind of the point of the whole story. But what sane person thinks the kids from South Park have never heard swear words before? It's not as though swearing itself hasn't existed until now.
Faced master.
Talking during movies. What the hell did all these people walking out think they were in for when they purchased tickets to a Terrence and Phillip movie called Asses of Fire?
Hi, Stan! Gross!
If the internet has taught me anything, it's that if Stan looks hard enough, he will eventually find a woman that enjoys being puked on.
Come, Wendy, let us try to jump the hilly brush.
I also once tried to get my college girlfriend Wendy to come by jumping her hilly brush, and it did not go well. School seating is not staggered like this because it makes getting to your seat assignments more complicated. School seating is only staggered like this when a movie wants you to be able to see everybody.
We sure do, Mr. Hayat.
If you had never seen South Park before this movie, you would have so many questions along the way, you wouldn't be able to actually sit back and enjoy the movie. You might think I'm going to sin the seizure-inducing layout of the upper and lowercase letters in this alphabet, and believe me, I could. But I'm more concerned about the classroom pencil sharpener mounted at eye level for an adult.
Let's try to get an answer from someone who's not a complete
These books are all brown when many of them were read just a few seconds ago. I'm sorry, but once books are read, they can't just be unread. Also, the pencil sharpener has moved to a row lower and it's still too damn high.
I want to know where you heard these horrific obscenities, okay?
Were obscenities just not a thing that existed in South Park until this movie came out? That makes no sense.
Thank you all for coming on such short notice.
And for barging in together at the exact time it was most relevant to the script needing your presence.
Terrence and Phillip are 2 very untalented actors from Canada. Nothing but foul language and toilet humor.
She is actually 100% correct about this, FYI. In 4 words, this poster has 3 different ways the double O sound is pronounced. The English language continues to be a sin. And for those who were about to comment that the poster actually has 5 words, you are out of your pedantic depth and need to rethink your assertion.
We got busted for swearing. Our mom said we can't ever see the Terrence and Phillip movie again.
That's it? The only punishment is that you can't watch it again? Eric told his teacher to suck his balls, and he's not even suspended through the end of the day?
Chef, how do you make a woman like you more than any other guy?
Oh, that's easy. You just gotta find the
Dude was fine saying like this, but got mad when they had another character make fun of Scientology. It's wild the moral lines people will draw. But also, that's not true. Finding the will not guarantee sexual satisfaction. Finding the isn't even hard. It's finding the supposed G-spot that's hard.
Here with a special report is a midget in a bikini.
Sigh, another unacceptable word gleefully used. Trey and Matt get all kinds of justified praise for this show and their comedy footprint overall, and even their biting satire of the real world. But they wallow in words we are able to get away with saying in the name of satire, and it's kind of gross.
The United States has graphic violence on television all the time. We can't believe that a movie with some foul language would piss you off so much.
Allowing a Canadian to make this much sense.
Yeah, dude.
The movie is about to go into a whole song making fun of how words are silly and harmless while forgetting that some words actually can cause harm.
You can take the rest of the afternoon off for personal reflection, okay?
The hell? You can't just let elementary school kids out of class early. This isn't college. What the f***? sitting in the front row at the movies like a psycho again. Also, notice how where all the adults walked out of the original showing, this showing is made up of kids who know exactly what they came for, just like Black Swan. Leaving all your trash in the auditorium like you're too exhausted to carry that 20 feet to the nearest trash can. Kenny catches fire, so they beat him with a stick they were apparently already carrying.
Say the line, Bart! Oh my god! You killed Kenny! You bastard!
Stan pukes again while watching surgery, and has anyone stopped to wonder if Stan might be pregnant?
He was your friend, you fat
This movie has more fat shaming than Shallow Hal.
So, boys, you saw that movie again?
Look, I know what movie we're in, but these moms being more concerned about the movie than the up dead child with 3 rib shards extending from an exploded chest cavity is a bit much for me to handle. 1 rib? Sure, fine. Satire, hilarious. But 3 ribs? Too far.
You are grounded for the next 2 weeks!
Only 2 weeks? His actions resulted in a kid's death? I got grounded for 2 weeks once for forgetting to feed the dog. I'm sure we can all agree that this is a fairly accurate version of heaven, but I'm still sinning that the afterlife has a severe lack of breast size variety.
Kenny set himself on fire because he saw Terrence and Phillip do it in that dirty movie.
He 100% absolutely did not see that. They lit a fart on fire. Kenny lit himself on fire. There's a pretty huge Pacific Ocean size difference between the two.
Our next guest has the #1 movie in the world right now.
Hiring Brent Spiner to do a Conan O'Brien impersonation that ends up sounding more like Jay Leno.
I farted once on the set of Blue Lagoon.
Hiring Minnie Driver to do a Brooke Shields impersonation that ends up sounding more like Drew Barrymore.
What have I done?
Prioritizing your joke over the accuracy of Conan's 6th floor studio location.
Canada.
You, buddy.
In 1999, this was satire.
No, this is Billy Baldwin.
Hiring Dave Foley to do a Billy Baldwin impersonation that ends up sounding more like Dave Foley. I don't understand how these ankle and wrist restraints are staying on Kenny's ankles and wrists.
The American government thinks it has the right to police the world.
Roll credits. Wait, wrong movie. But also, where'd the crate come from?
Don't do it, Cartman!
Cartman then proceeds to sing an entire song about what a bitch Kyle's mom is, and yet Kyle will still remain friends with him.
Talk to kids around the world, it might go a little bit something like this.
Nope.
Here to present the V-chip is Dr. Voznaka.
Sadly, the V-chip turns out to be something that shocks you when you swear, instead of any of the wildly cool sexually related uses I had immediately envisioned. Anachronistic black and white newsreels position.
I hate it. I can't say any dirty words.
Thing I say every time I post a video somehow makes it into the script. As they sing about what Brian Boitano would do in their situation, I have to ask, is that even a reference that lands for anyone under 40? This reference was dated even in 1999. The sun is continuing to set, but the length of the boy's shadows remains the same, and honestly, how could you still even think this movie was funny with such poor solar optics accuracy? I already pointed out that the restraints weren't likely to hold Kenny, but I'm surprised hell doesn't have any hench people or guards, and damn souls can just wander around and spy on Satan's bedroom. I have a big question about this room, but it has nothing to do with the giant Skeet Ulrich image on the wall. Skeet rules. I have a picture of him in my bedroom. No, my issue is this phone on the nightstand. Specifically, how does a phone work if it's in hell? Houses with disconnected garages. Do you think when I want to leave, I should have to walk outside like some kind of animal? Do you? The boys search for on the internet and stumble upon Cartman's mom in a porn video, and it's all Chef's fault. But more importantly, I don't think you could type into Yahoo's search engine in 1999 and get actual porn sites in the results.
Sneak out after you get tucked into bed tonight.
Wait, does every kid in South Park have the exact same bedtime?
Saddam Hussein? That doesn't make sense, Kenny!
Cartman would be a joke-ignoring asshole nitpicker at CinemaSins.
Now he's all pissed off. I can't say pissed off.
Definitely sinning pissed off being considered a swear. Make me wonder how the V-chip handles things like dickhead, face, or fussy britches.
We used to talk all night long until the sun came up.
The sun comes up in hell? I'm taking 3 sins off for what is, in my opinion, the best song in the movie, and for Satan's vocal performance.
I don't think Kenny is dead.
Yes, you do. You saw his ghost. A very clear indication that he's dead. What you mean to say is that you think Kenny is communicating to you beyond the grave. Words matter, Cartman.
Let us get this meeting underway. Others coming.
What? If there's others coming, shouldn't you wait to start the meeting so you don't have to end up repeating yourself every time new people arrive?
Canadians, Australians, what's the difference?
Well, Canada gave us Jim Carrey, Martin Short, Catherine O'Hara, and Norm Macdonald. Australia gave us Hugh Jackman, Nicole Kidman, Chris Hemsworth, and Margot Robbie. So in short, Canada gives us funny people, and Australia gives us people you might actually want to
Windows 98! Get Bill Gates in here!
Was Bill Gates just hanging out in the next room in case there were computer issues? Or is he like Janet from The Good Place, and he just appears if you say his name? But also, Windows 98.
Here's the address of the mole.
The mole?
Yeah, I can help with this. The Mole is actually an 8-foot wide, half-mile long breakwater wall off the beaches of Dunkirk. I know it sounds like a covert spy thing, but it's not. And anyone who would think so is stupid to have been confused about it. Glad to have helped. Just like America to cheap out on the big execution by buying the electric chair from Acme. Movie meddles madly, modifying a middling, muddy medley of multiple melodious, mellow melodies. Who wrote the book, Saddam is from Mars, Satan is from Venus? But more importantly, why? Also, why would Satan's eyesight diminish over the years to where he needs glasses? He's a fallen angel, not a human.
It's Saddam. He doesn't nurture my emotions.
This makes me wonder about all of Satan's previous boyfriends. Were all of them famous dictators? World leaders at least? Famous at least? Or did he hook up with Steve Mason from that trailer park in Indiana I remember that had all the merry-go-rounds? Also, surely hell has plenty of psychologists and couples therapists, no? Why is he seeking advice from Kenny? I appreciate that he puts his Canadian brother in the attic to avoid him going to a concentration camp, but couldn't he have left a bottle as well? Baby food jars?
He said very naughty things about God.
Well, tell him to get in line.
I can't help you. I'm grounded in my room for the next 3 days.
Totally allowed to smoke, though, as long as I do it in my room. It's in my stereotypical French mole clause, so my mom couldn't say shit about it. It's one thing to talk with a cigarette in your mouth. It's quite another to talk while a cigarette appears to be glued to your lower lip. Why am I just now realizing that they have a tiled floor in their bedroom? Who does that? This is terrible stadium design for anything that happens on the main stage area of the show. Sure, people can watch stuff in the middle circle, but they are going to have to crane their necks if stuff is happening near the curtain.
You realize that by doing this, we could be grounded for 2, perhaps even 3 weeks.
You are all already grounded, dude, so I don't think it's a big problem.
If anything goes wrong, make us sound like a dying giraffe.
You already made a college girlfriend joke in this video. You already made a college girlfriend joke in this video. You already made... The movie clearly wants you to believe Winona Ryder is shooting ping pong balls with her vagina, only to reveal she's just using a ping pong paddle to hit balls into the audience and apparently got into the female missionary sex position on stage, vaginal region facing the audience, to do so for some reason, and it's a super cheat. It's probably my least favorite joke in the film because it is the least earned and the most stretched for.
Oh no, we have to stall him. More!
Yeah, more!
If it were this easy for one person to incite a crowd to demand an encore, those Rebecca St. James concerts I went to in the 90s would have ended much later. Because Cartman is a dumbass, he is scared away by the ghost of Kenny before even doing his job of shutting off the power. Can I really add a sin for Cartman being a dumbass even though it's his whole thing? When the story uses it as a crutch, yes. The mole dies for all the sometime.
Get me the out of this chair! How's that for last words?
Considering neither of your arms seem to be securely fastened at this point, I think you're halfway there. The kids tell their moms about Saddam and Satan's plan and they are laughed at, which is actually the appropriate response. They sound like lunatics. The Canadians start bombing the USO show and Cartman ends up killing the power to the electric chairs, charring Terrence and Phillip, but somehow also electrocutes Cartman. And does it seem to anyone else like they had 80% of this thing down cold but struggled to end it and came up with every possible ending they could think of rolled into one?
I am the
You are? I've been wrong about what you look like all my life, and honestly never even considered bowler hat as an option.
Believe in yourself and others will believe in you.
They will not. Terrence and Phillip still farting even while on a battlefield proves they deserve to die. These kids move about the battlefield without pause for the dead or even any actual recognition of the dead. It's just a speed run.
Children, take Mr. Head.
What the Upon seeing the war's actual impact on their lives, all the anti-Canada women quit the group and rush to protect their own children. And this is the only prediction the movie got wrong.
We can't let Terrence and Phillip die, or else the whole world's gonna end.
Since Terrence and Phillip are kind of a stand-in for Matt and Trey and their base comedy stylings, did they just write a movie where the answer to saving the world is not censoring their raunchy comedy? I'm not even saying it's not true. It just takes a special kind of person to be willing to make a movie declaring one's own value in saving the world.
I'm not gonna let you kill them, Mom.
You're 1.5 feet tall. She has so many ways to still kill them over your alive body if she wants. It's almost hilarious. Without explanation, Cartman gains control of his V-chip enough to direct the shock charges at whomever he wants, and it's super bullshit, but most of us are ready for this to be over, so we'll go with it.
That is not for size. Blood sprint frozen tampon pop sticker!
Wait, none of those are swears, though. It. Anything to end this movie sooner.
I have you to thank, little one.
Really? It. Anything to end this movie sooner.
Just make any wish you want, and I shall grant it.
Satan is a genie now, and it. Anything to end this movie sooner.
I guess I'm destined to live in hell. Alone.
Kind of wild that it took the events of this movie for you to realize that.
Goodbye, you guys.
Oh my god, they face revealed Kenny! You bastards!
That I just hate you, and I hate your ass face!
Let's be careful out there.
Yes, I saw the Terrence and Phillip movie. Who wants to touch me?
My name is Dick, and you can touch me.
Chef, how do you make a woman like you more than any other guy?
Oh, that's easy. You just gotta find the...
That's a myth.
Smut and filth like this has no place in our schools.
I regret nothing!
Where is Nitty? He's in the car.
Attention, students!
Oh, what now?
2 students have just been expelled for fornicating inside a Mufasa costume.
Sometimes I think you don't have any respect for me.
Don't forget, you're shoving a pineapple up Hitler's ass at 4 p.m.
Soon Saddam and I will rule the world.
Maniacal laugh.
We're La Resistance. We want to save Terrence and Philip and stop the war and stuff.
Sweetheart, how many times have I told you, don't say and stuff. Just say, Dad, there are here.
You go over there and them. We'll stay here and